There are over 1.5 million visits to museums in Cornwall every year. These museums, often run by passionate volunteers, are at the heart of many of our communities, preserving their unique heritage and culture for the future. In recent years, difficult decisions have been made in every area of public spending. While government funding nationally for museums has been broadly flat, the changing pattern of this funding has presented new and difficult challenges for museums. However, by altering their operating models, we have also seen that many museums have actually increased their overall resilience. The Catalyst programme, delivered by Cornwall Museums Partnership with support from the Heritage Lottery Fund, sets out to give museums the skills and confidence to thrive in these challenging times, embedding the skills that promote financial sustainability and resilience so that Cornwall's heritage has a bright future. Support from Cornwall Museums Partnership is helping heritage organisations to embed fundraising. From the trustees and senior management to volunteers and staff, everyone has their role to play in making fundraising successful. The Dean and Head of Operations at Truro Cathedral talks about the steps they are taking.
Well, it was fundraising before Catalyst on a very ad hoc basis. If there was a project that we needed to address, then we would try and raise funds for that. Where we were not terribly sophisticated or really street smart was in the general fundraising that we need to do in order to undergird the financial performance of the cathedral. So it was very much on a hand-to-mouth basis, and we weren't really addressing some underlying problems and structures that would put fundraising on what I would call a semi-professional footing for an organisation like ours.
It's taken us quite a while to realise that we have to be looking upon fundraising as being fundamental to the ongoing operational well-being of the cathedral, and we've been going through quite a process of a change of ideas and a change of culture. The Catalyst programme has really helped us get a grip on that, and it helped us with all the training and everything that we've needed to embed a different point of view across the whole organisation.
And asking us to look at the bigger picture as well. You know, what are your key points? What is your essential driver? And not to be too bashful about it. Again, in a church context, it's very easy for us to be ever so sort of slightly humble and not be very direct in terms of fundraising, asking for money. That's not the sort of thing that churches do. But actually, although we're not technically a charity, we need to behave like a charity. And really smarten up our act to say that if we want this building to be here with all its wonderful offerings and resources for many people to use, then we've got to care for it much better financially than we have been doing. And Catalyst has really helped us to put those sort of questions at the forefront of our thinking.
I think the realisation that the changing culture went across the whole of the organisation. What we tried to do was invite as many of our staff from whatever department and whatever level they worked at to participate in the Catalyst training, and that has been a really good way of us demonstrating that this approach goes across the board.
And also we're challenging the hierarchy of our setup. The cathedral has a fairly strict hierarchy. It's got a governing body called the chapter, and different levels of management that go down from that. We're trying to bring those levels together much more organically. And so we're addressing the whole issue of how we work together as a staff team. And actually that's paying dividends in all sorts of ways, because the values that we're trying to inculcate are being much more disseminated because people can see where it's all leading to. Coupled with that, we're having a complete rebrand. We're refreshing our website, and we're sharpening up our strategic vision.
There is a real business side to the organisation, which is new ground for a lot of clergy. Clergy aren't trained to be business managers, so it's been really helpful for them to be able to participate in some of the training that's been provided by Catalyst, because they can then start making parallels between a cathedral, which is essentially a church and worship is at the core of it, and make those parallels with other organisations that have to fundraise. All the changes that have happened over the last couple of years have helped us create a really strong foundation for us to build on for the future. That's very much to do with attitudes and culture in the organisation, but it's also to do with really practical things like creating a fundraising strategy, making sure we've got a proper database that we can market from, although that's probably not a word we would have used 3 years ago, and making sure we've got those resources in place that we can then build on for the future. I think to not be afraid to look at all aspects of what you're doing is the biggest thing. We certainly had it in the start, a tendency to say, well, we've always done it like this and therefore you can't see how it could possibly change, but really tackling the issues one by one and not being afraid to say, do you know what? We don't know why we're doing that anymore. We need to change that. But being able to stand up and be brave about it has helped us move on, and I think that would help any organisation in the same situation.